Now, Skyler is not going anywhere. Wait until you see... Oh my gosh, you brought crazy stuff with you today.
Yeah.
Like stuff that never comes up. And when it does, there's a lot of people who want it. In July 2020, a sealed, graded copy of Super Mario Bros. On the original Nintendo Entertainment System sold at auction for $114,000. And that was a lot of money. But in April 2021, another graded copy sold at auction for $660,000. And that was crazy. But in August 2021, Super Mario Bros. Sold at auction for $2 million. And that was just controversial. Reading headlines like these may leave you wondering if that old box of games in your attic is actually a gold mine. Like all things collectibles, the answer to that question is that it's complicated. If you didn't see in part 1, Skyler brought over a giant NES slot of about 50 games and a console and a power pad. We valued it at $875, and then of all the options, you said you'd sell it to me for $425, which I very much appreciate. When he sent me the picture of stuff he had, I saw all this stuff and I was like, I feel like you're trolling me.
Okay, really?
Yeah,
really? Okay.
Yeah. This is a handheld paradise. So,
okay.
Did you play a lot of handheld games in general?
Yes and no. Like, I would go on trips a lot. On top of that, my dad used to have an orthodontics business. And so he had, like, some of these consoles. Like, he would just have them, like, in the waiting room. And they kind of got played a couple times. And he would always just buy this weird, kind of interesting stuff.
Here's what we do. We go through all of your stuff. I'll share with you maybe what I think the value is based on what I see, based on how the market responds to it. Because it's not just about looking up the prices. It's about knowing what collectors are really looking for. Because some stuff can look like it's worth a lot of money, but it's not. And I'm using eBay solds as comps. Handheld consoles, particularly in the retro world, a lot of people have taken to modding them. People want these consoles, but they don't want to play them in their original condition. What they want to do is they want to mod these things and do backlights and recap things, stuff that I don't totally understand. A big thing with this is, number one, would someone buy it and then fix it up? But number two is just the original cosmetic condition, because handheld stuff got thrown around all the time, right? If this stuff is in good condition, that's really huge. The other thing that's huge is if it's in its original box. Some of these items that you have just on their own are valuable, but you have the original boxes for a couple of these, and that cardboard might be worth more than the console itself.
Whoa!
Yeah. Let's get into the first thing. And the first thing is something fairly common. That's the Game Boy Color. The important thing on Game Boys is that it has this back plate. This is often broken, missing, covered in tape. Yours is perfect. It even has the little Mario repair sticker on it. I don't see this one as much as I see the solid ones that aren't see-through. Now, unfortunately, your screen has a lot of little tiny scratches. I'm guessing that this wouldn't really affect the gameplay. These scratches don't feel very deep to me, but they're still there. So I would probably put this up for $50, and if someone offered me a little lower, I might take it. But I think $50 is a good starting point on this one.
Handheld monies.
The Game Boy Pocket. This version of the Game Boy is not the Game Boy Color, but it was this shorter, smaller model, not the big clunky one. That's awesome, but is also big and clunky.
Yeah.
This did a little bit better on batteries. This was a little bit more form factor wise, really cool. No backlit screens yet, but this color is a limited edition color, and it also has the back cover as well.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Good.
Now, even though this is a limited edition color, this isn't a very desirable console. Buttons and everything feel pretty good. The power feels okay. You got some scratches on the screen and some wear otherwise, but I'd probably list this at 60 and see what happens.
Oh,
so
that's awesome. Let's do 60.
Nintendo, before they made handheld consoles, made a handheld game system called Game & Watch. And Game & Watch is really cool because what this was it was a single game that you could play. And in fact, recently there's been re-releases of a couple of those. There's a Super Mario one and a Zelda one. And this is pre-Game Boy, ways that we would do portable gaming as little children's.
Alarm.
Yeah, I mean, you could set this up and you'd be the cool kid in school, you know, at your desk. No, teacher, it's not a game, it's an alarm. This one is fairly common. This is the Mario Brothers one. It's a multi-screen game. Assuming this works, a good condition one goes for about $85.
Really?
So I'm gonna say in this condition, let's say $70. I might be undervaluing it a little bit, but I'm gonna be a little conservative here. Another one that varies in price, Donkey Kong. This one, I'm seeing $75 to $135. In good, clean, mint condition, you could easily get over $100 for this. This condition, it's a little worn. It's not terrible by any means. There's no major damage to it that I can tell. I would value this at a solid $100, maybe $90. Let's say $90. Be conservative again on this. I've seen the Donkey Kong and the Mario Brothers ones before. I've never seen pinball pinball before. Now this is pretty cool. This one's probably in your best shape of all three of them. And it looks like a pinball board from the 80s. And it's got this really fun little artwork here on it. It's, again, a little cosmetically, it needs a little cleanup. Solds on this are at about $125.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Now in this condition, I wouldn't have any problem putting this out on a show floor at, let's say, 110.
Assuming there's no battery issues.
This is actually important. I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of these consoles, because of their obscurity, people will still buy them if they're broken because they just like the design. So if you have a broken one of these, some modder or someone would come along and maybe try to fix it up, or just have it for display because of its history.
Okay, cool. That's good to know. The other stuff has been surprising so far. This, especially the pinball one, it's such like a special thing, and I didn't really think about it in those terms until now.
We're going to take a break from handheld consoles. Let's move these out over the side. And we're going to go to a console game. This is one of those ones I see from time to time out there, but never with the box. Check this out. Ooh, a big box, Lethal Enforcers. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Did you play this?
Yes. I love this one.
This game was part of a time where there's just a lot of controversy about violence in games. This box is in great condition. There's a little bit of sun fading here on the top, but I mean, check this out. There's no major rips, no major tears. So we're gonna rip it right now and see how it does.
Yeah, let's try it.
Let's open this up. Okay.
And we got the justifier.
Hold that thing up. We got to take a look at that. That is the justifier. Look at that. This is a complete in-box copy. Sometimes people will pay money for this kind of stuff. This little piece of paper that came in it, because people just threw this away if they kept the box at all, or it fell out and was like, oh, who cares about this? And then you got, this sweet little ad for Konami games, which is really fun. Oh my gosh, you guys. It's like mint condition. 0 scratches. There is something important about, though, Sega CD games in particular, and really any CD-based game. Are you familiar with disc rot? Every video game, every human, everything is in a present state of deterioration. Yeah. Video games are not immune, and people are really into collecting physical because they're like, it preserves everything. It might not, actually, because some of these games, there's a tiny little bit of moisture, and over a period of 20 to 50 to 100, who knows how many years, starts to deteriorate. So what you got to do to see how good a condition it is, hold the disc up to the light, and what you're looking for is little pinhole pricks or other things. And if there's a lot of them, I would just avoid it altogether. If you can see here, there's a pinhole prick right underneath the C.
Yes, I see it now.
Yeah, it's very small.
Wow.
You only got one. That's a pretty safe bet. Sometimes it means nothing. Sometimes it's on a spot of the disc where it doesn't affect anything, or it's maybe a sound effect in one part of the level under very specific circumstances. Other times it could be the final boss you can't play, or a level is totally corrupt and you can't play it. But that's in great condition. I would sell this in like new condition. I would have no problem saying that.
Really? Wow.
Right now, I'm seeing sold listings between $100 and $150.
Nice. Yeah.
I would say in this condition, easily, I would put this out for $150. Woo. I mean, this is in mint condition, and it has all the pieces that make it complete in box.
Wow. Dang.
All right, let's go to a very obscure handheld, one I almost never see. This is the Atari Lynx and the Atari Lynx carrying case.
Many a car trips with this thing.
Not in the best condition on that screen. There's a lot of wear.
Yeah.
And there's some kind of smudging or something. I can't tell if that's inside the screen, but actually, overall, you've got this in pretty good shape. Do you have batteries in here? Thank God. Okay, some people leave batteries in, they explode and corrode, and that's no good. These are interesting. You'll notice there's 4 buttons, but only 2 are available because they had left and right-handed people in mind when they made this. So you could do either way to play, which is pretty cool. So Lynx consoles are hard for me to price because I know very little about this market, but I'm seeing anywhere from $100 to $200.
Whoa!
I'd have no problem putting this out for $180. The thing with Atari Lynx games is they're generally not too valuable, but they are very obscure. California games. Okay, so I'm gonna say $10 on this one. I'd say $20 on Blue Lightning.
Okay.
Let's do Blockout. Let's say $15. I'm gonna guess $20 on this.
Okay.
Maybe 25. I think $30 is fair.
Dang! Yeah, that's awesome. That game is very weird.
I'm gonna say 5. Look, that one's.
Which one?
I think $5. Oh, this is. If this doesn't scream nerd gaming, then what does?
That's either like a video game or like a dark
cult.
wave, a cult, right? Gates of Zendokon.
I'm gonna say $10 on this one. We have Checkered Flag.
15,
I'd say
12,
10 on this one. I'm gonna say 15. I'm gonna say 15 on that one. So here's the issue with Atari Lynx stuff. it takes a long time to sell. So even though you're seeing sold between 20 and 40, 30 might be like the fair market value, but I wouldn't offer much more than $20 for it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say
$20, but still $20.
Did you ever play this in the arcade?
Yeah, this game is awesome.
Let's say $10. I don't know anything about this conversion of the game. This is Rygar. Yeah, let's say 15 on that one. I'm going to say 10 on this one. That's what I'd value it at. Now, what's our total at right now?
$8.95.
$8.95. I'd say even then, like give or take a few dollars, $900 is a fair
$900 so far.
amount to say.
Wow.
But you guys, that's not even it. My man, Skyler, loves his handheld games, but there's one console that you could play on the go at the very high cost of a lot of batteries. It's very desirable. I see them a couple times a year. And when I see them at the swap meet, they're usually just the console or someone saying, hey, I found one of these. But I never see them in the box. My man's got a Sega Nomad. Let me tell you something. I see these boxes, they're not in great shape.
Yeah.
This is like beautiful. This is like, you got some creasing and some bends on this side right here, like, you know, so let's see what's inside. I was wondering in the pictures if these are brand new, like if these had ever been played. Look, it's still in the plastic.
No, it's not brand new.
Oh my gosh. That screen is literally perfect. This is literally a Sega Genesis console in the hand, on the go. Like, that's what this is. So, did you play this very much?
Yeah. I played Vector Man a lot, Comics Zone, Lion King, Aladdin. Those ones were like my main ones.
Sega Nomads are just highly desirable in general.
Really? Okay.
So this is really cool to have in the box. I would list this in very good condition. I don't think I could say like new with a good conscience, but you don't have one of these. Why do you have two?
Remember it was what I was saying about like my dad. I guess for some reason he had gotten two at some point.
I see these, but I almost never see these. So that's really cool. Let's take a look at the screen on this one. This one's got a little bit of scratching on it.
Maybe this is the one that I played more.
Yeah, but either way, it's still in great condition. The boxes are comparable. The other one might be slightly better. This one might be slightly better in other ways. But either way, to have it in that good a condition never happens anymore. Never happens anymore.
Are these modders? Like people do modding on this? I wonder?
This is a great console to mod. Hardcore Sega fans they would probably pay you more for the cardboard than they would for the console, because that's just
because they want it. They want.
Yeah, I was kind of wanting to see them first to see, are there scratches? How are the boxes? Why don't you let's do that correctly. These right now in the box. Take a guess on what these babies might sell for.
Let's 150.
I shoot a little higher.
More? Okay.
Yeah.
200.
On pretty good box condition, about 350.
350. Oh
Each.
my gosh.
Each.
Oh my gosh.
I might even put them up for 400 because the boxes are in such good condition, and the one that has the manual inside of it.
Oh my god, that's like what we were already at.
Yeah,
just in like two things.
I know. That's why I told you. I was like, oh my gosh, you got this stuff. And also, you have obscure stuff. You have Game & Watches. You have the limited edition Game Boy. You have the Atari Lynx with like a bunch of games I've never heard of. And then you have one Sega Nomad in the box. No, sir, you have two Sega Nomads in the box.
You gotta have two. You gotta have two.
You just never know what's out there. Okay.
This is insane.
If you did watch the last video, skip ahead to this point right here to see what Skyler decides to do. You got a couple options. Option number one is you can take all this stuff to a game store. You're probably going to get more than 40% value for these because these never come up. And when they do, they're almost never in box. And when they are in box, they're almost never in this good a condition. If I were a game store owner, I might be willing to offer a higher amount than 40%. I might go 50, 60%. I could be a little off. A game store might even give you more to give you value at the store if you wanted to go buy some new stuff or some other stuff or whatever. Usually trade-in credit gets you more if you just want to buy more games. Option number two, you can go to OfferUp and you can list this online, and I would not list this as a lot. I would list this in pieces and I would list them one at a time. If I see someone who has this, I will always ask, do you have any other games? Because if you have this, you probably have other stuff. So someone might be, negotiating and try to get the lot from you that way. I think on this stuff on OfferUp, you're probably going to get maybe 85% the value of it because it's so obscure. Again, you got the risk on OfferUp, which is these are expensive and rare items. You want to be safe with where you meet somebody, and you want to be wise about what you end up putting out there and how you put it out there. Buyers can be flaky. There's a lot of scammers.
You would sell them together?
No, I would sell these separate for sure. If I put these up together, someone would likely be like, hey, if I buy both, will you give me a better deal?
Yeah.
And because of how rare these are, I would not. The other thing that you can do is you can take this to a pawn shop. I don't know percentage-wise what pawn shops would do on this. Others of them might try to give you, you know, even more. Who knows? The other option is you could sell on eBay. Now, eBay's great. The market fluctuates and demand goes up and down. The problem is these are big and bulky. The Atari Lynx is big and bulky. These consoles, you know, if they break and they can cost a lot for shipping, all of that stuff is potential risk to you as a seller. That is customer service you're going to have to deal with. Taking the time to list on eBay, packaging up stuff, dealing with customers may not be a big deal to you, but it also could be something that for other people, they're like, I just don't want to do that. I would want to get rid of it. We're taking about 20% out for fees, taxes, shipping, all that stuff. The other one is there's a lot of really big Sega fans that are in Facebook groups and other social media places, and you could go and say, hey guys, I've got this awesome Sega Nomad complete in box. I'm looking to get $400 for it. Is anyone interested? Again, you got to coordinate with people. You might be shipping it somewhere. There are a lot of scammers in any group anywhere, so you just have to be careful, but it could be a really great thing. You know, there's a lot of people who are enthusiasts that would be really excited to take this off your hands. The other thing is you could sell this to me. Now, at about $1,700, I don't know what I would offer you because I think some of this stuff would sell right away, but some of this might sit for a while for me. So the Atari Lynx,
very niche.
It's very niche. It would sell, but it would just might take a while. Maybe not the Lynx console itself. I would probably sell this as a lot.
You could use the Lynx as just your bag to like hang around, like just be like,
I could
cool,
take it to work with
right?
me. Yeah. On $1,700, I would probably offer you probably 50%, $850 is what I'd offer you. And then there's always the other option. Retro video games are about fun. They're about cool memories. They're about having this stuff is really fun. It takes us to a cool place. And you might feel like, no, like I want to keep this around and I want to play these games. I want to return to them at some point. That's awesome. That's always a great option too. The value of it staying in your possession is more than the value of selling it. So given all of those options, what would you do?
I would say with this lot, it's an interesting group of stuff. I'd probably do a mix. I feel like
interesting.
I would probably, you know, like some of the stuff. If you're really interested and you're like, hey, I want these things, we can talk about those.
Okay.
And then, but maybe some of them I can like bring to my local place, like, and just that way I'm getting the most out of like all different types of connections, right?
That's it.
Because that's a huge thing for me. Is like I love getting to connect with people.
Yeah.
You know, like supporting you, doing what you do, but also I was like, I kind of want to keep maybe some of these things. That's kind of working that out in my brain. You know?
Yeah. So you're kind of stuck here. I mean, and that is true. This is not binary. You can one or the other. You can really do a mix of all of this stuff, or you might not really care, and you want someone like a collector like me to be like, here, dude, this is cool.
Well, what are you really interested in? Like, if you were just like, ooh, if you had to pick something, like, and you were like, yeah, that's the one.
I would buy the whole lot at like 50%. I would do 200 each on the Nomads.
Yeah.
I would want the Game Boys strictly to resell, and then the Game & Watches are a real toss-up for me because I don't know how to fix those if they're broken.
Right.
And I could end up spending a lot of money on them and have stuff that I get $30 for parts, and I'm out a lot of money.
And we also still have this too.
We still have the Sega CD. I would buy that from you too.
I think we have a lot to talk about.
I'm excited to update you right after this of what we do. So Skyler ended up selling me everything in that lot, and I was so grateful for the deal. But there was a huge problem. There was something in the lot that I seriously undervalued, and I need to make it right. Click right here to see what happened next, and also what Skyler brought to the garage that we just didn't have enough time to cover.